Good morning, good morning, good morning. Cheers. Happy Monday, everybody. All right, so last week we talked about your diet. We went through a step-by-step process to heal your gut and overcome some sensitivities and then move on to maintaining gut health, right? So this week is our very last video in our self-love series. Cheers to the ending of another beautiful, wonderful February. Nothing like a hot cup of coffee, right? Oh, love it. All right, so today what we're going to talk about is we're going to actually talk about skincare and what your gut health has to do with your skin, how it impacts your skin, and what to do about it. We usually talk about mindset, we talk about diet, and things that we heal our body and maintain a healthier body from the inside out. Today, we're talking about the external structures and external influences. There's our environment, there's the things that we put on our body. And there's things that we can't control externally that impact us and ultimately impact our gut health. Our skin and our gut have a bidirectional pathway, just like brain and gut do. You don't hear it very often, but it's there. The things that our gut needs, the things that our skin needs, it's cyclical. They try and help each other out. And ultimately, you guys, I went over this multiple times last time, so I'm not trying to harp on it, but just remember, your skin does not lie. If you're dehydrated, if you're malnourished, and malnourished being not that you're not feeding yourself enough, it's that you're not feeding yourself enough of the foods that your body needs, the foods that it will get its micronutrients and fuel from. For you, that's going to look a little different than for me. It's all part of that biochemical individuality. Is what you need may not be what I need, and what I need may not be what you need. It goes hand in hand. Well, today we're going to talk skin, and your skin is exactly the same way. What you can use on your skin, I can't use on mine. We kind of have a challenge in our house. My skin is not as sensitive as Brian's is, and Keegan has very sensitive skin as well. Right now, we're dealing with an eczema outbreak, and I can't identify it. I've gone through every dietary cause, can't find anything there. So I'm thinking it's something external, but we just haven't found a fix for it. And the pediatrician suggested using cortisol cream or cortisone cream and letting it heal that way, and then some allergy medication, which we've just started. Hasn't really done much of anything yet. So there's a trigger somewhere. So we're in that discovery process. And for us, things like laundry detergent, the soap that we use on our skin, on our hands, on our dishes, I can't necessarily go and get the most natural thing out there, because even though it is natural, comes from plants, it's still very stimulating. So the products I need to buy to keep several members of my household very healthy are more the pure, the sensitive, nothing added to it, no fragrances, like baseline, right? Now, granted, those baselines are actually very healthy for you because fragrances are one of the triggers. They're one of the components with our skin that if we inhale a fragrance that our body doesn't like or doesn't receive well, doesn't metabolize well, it's not even necessarily the, oh, that smells good. It's your body's like, oh, it smells good, but no, thank you. And guess where it shows up? It shows up as eczema and psoriasis and acne, um, dry, flaky scalp. I mean, it shows up in a number of different ways, and all on our skin. And there's several what a lot of holistic practitioners call skin wreckers, okay, in your diet. And those are going to be your gluten and your dairy and your soy and any of the foods that trigger you, that trigger sensitivity within your body or an intolerance within your body. Sugar is a huge trigger for psoriasis, eczema, and for rosacea. Acne, yes, and no, kind of depends. If you are breaking out, here's just a little caveat. If you are breaking out after you eat any sort of dairy product within that first 3 days after eating it, you have at minimum a sensitivity. In that case, if you're not giving up dairy, you need the most hormone pesticide free possible when you go and you consume dairy. That is going to give you the least reaction, okay? The least intensity and the least reaction. It's going to give your body a little bit better chance of metabolizing it and not really blowing up your face with acne all over it, or rosacea all over it, okay? Um, if you're still responding, then you really want to consider giving up dairy. You do. I can't have dairy, but I'm okay with gluten as long as I don't overdose or overdo it. I'm actually perfectly fine with gluten. Um, Another key component that can really trigger a reaction in your skin that we put into our bodies is the non-steroidal anti-inflammatory drugs. If you are sustaining your body and you're sustaining your life and your ability to live pain-free or relatively pain-free using ibuprofen, for instance, NSAIDs, then you're hindering your gut. You're actually putting things within your gut that are depleting its microbiome. And when you deplete the microbiome, then now you don't have enough bacteria within your gut and enough microorganisms to help your body process, digest, metabolize, do its thing. And that comes out in your skin. Um, the thing with the anti-inflammatory drugs is this. A lot of times what happens is we believe that, okay, well, we have a pain and we take this drug, right? We don't look at it might be showing up on my skin, it might be showing up on my face, it might be the trigger to my psoriasis or my eczema. We don't look at that. And in reality, we should, because if you're on anti-inflammatory drugs more than a handful of times a year, or because of a specific illness or injury that has happened, then you're actually just masking an issue versus getting to the root cause of it, figure out what the problem is and fix it. You may still need the anti-inflammatories while you are fixing and healing yourself. But until you get to that root cause, all you're doing is sending yourself into this yo-yo, healing gut foods, doing everything possible to heal my gut. But then now you take some drugs and now you're back. So you're just going into this yo-yo. And in those cases, you do want to adhere as strictly as possible to a very healthy diet, something that is healthy for your gut, something that produces, or not produces, but provides your gut all of the essential nutrients it needs to heal itself and to operate and function as optimally as possible. Um, and the yo-yo is necessary here and there. It's not necessary 100% of the time or long term. So really, if you're doing that, get to the root cause. Let's figure out what's triggering you. Let's figure out what is causing that pain. And let's see if we can get at least the bulk of it managed and diminished. Okay. That is going to actually help your gut, which is going to help the pain diminish as well, even further. And it's just, there's your other cycle. But this is a cycle you want to be on. You want to be on the cycle that goes healing foods, healing body, management, healing foods, healing body, management, cycle, 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 cycle. And eventually it just goes quicker and quicker and quicker. And it's just a practice. Every day is your daily practice, right? So, what does food and fuel have to do with your skin? We're going to go over this quick, tiny little quick. So food is really fuel. Food is your medicine. It is the baseline of the medical community. Well, many doctors won't admit it. That's actually where it started, traditional medicine, many, many, many centuries ago. And the food that we put in our bodies nourishes our body, provides micronutrients, especially those that our skin needs. things like antioxidants, B vitamins, your fats, and your lipids. Hydration, you need moisture, right? And, if you pinch your finger, it stays, it means you're dehydrated. This it means too much wine last night. But it was a birthday celebration weekend, take two. So, you know. So let's talk directly skin. Obviously, your skin tells you the truth about what's happening in your body. We've gone over this a couple of times now. Um, the gut skin axis, what that does is it's a bi-directional pathway where your gut and your skin are constantly always talking. Your skin saying, hey, I need this, I need this, I need this. And your gut is trying to give it what it needs. It's trying to create something to give it what it needs if you are not consuming that. It's triggering signals and symptoms, cravings to try and get you to eat things that will provide your skin what it needs. And when this communication doesn't happen and there's a disruption, that's actually the number one cause of inflammation within our body. Now, as you know from the past, and just a reminder for those of you who are new here, inflammation, when I say inflammation, what I'm talking about is the irritation that is caused to your body. Sometimes that means bloating, sometimes that means swelling. Yes. But for the most part, it can also mean stagnation and an inability for your body to function optimally, which depletes. Doesn't necessarily cause bloating, doesn't necessarily cause swelling or water weight or anything like that. It's just there's an irritation and your body is trying to heal it. So don't get very dramatic over it. All right. So when you don't listen to your body, when you are masking symptoms long term, things can happen within your gut, and those things show up on our skin. With rosacea, and let me make sure I am, yes, okay. With rosacea, with eczema, and with psoriasis, there's quite a few things that can happen and that can be manifest and produced from not paying attention to it and just putting treatments on it, creams, lotions, prescription drugs, whether you're taking them or you're applying them topically. Those can mask symptoms rather than really addressing the root cause of it. Some of the things that rosacea and eczema and psoriasis are directly connected to: Crohn's, celiac, H. pylori attack, and SIBO. Now, in H. pylori, what that is it's actually an infection, and it will attach itself. It looks like a helicopter, so they call it the helicopter bacteria. It attaches itself to the stomach lining and basically eats the stomach lining. It infects it and causes ulcers. It causes openings. This is a contributor to leaky gut, and it's a contributor to ulcer conditions, a number of other things. But those skin conditions that you're seeing, the eczema, the psoriasis, and the rosacea, specifically those three, acne, dermatitis, and any of the other many multitude of skin conditions and irritations that we deal with, those are all symptoms and signs in and of themselves. But these three in particular are what I like to focus on because they are very common, especially in our society today. They're very common. And a lot of people don't understand that it's not only what you're putting in your body, but it's what you're putting on your body. So while they're eating and they change their diet, they're not necessarily changing things in their house or their body and skincare products. They're not changing any of those. So while they're healing their gut and they're healing from the inside out, the outside's not helping. The outside is actually preventing and putting blockages, right? It's stopping progress. So we really need to look at external in, especially if you were dealing with one of those top three: the rosacea, the psoriasis, or the eczema. If you're already fighting one of those three and suffering from either an H. pylori infection, celiac, Crohn's, or SIBO, it is very important and crucial that you work with a practitioner of some sort. Make sure that everything you're doing is healing your body. And granted, with celiac and with Crohn's, that there's no 100% healing, but you do want to get to the point where you're hindering degeneration and progression of illness. Okay. Um, and from there, you do need to look at your whole health. So holistic health is core and crucial. Today, the next 5 steps that we're going to talk about are specifically related to external influences. The air that we breathe, the products that we use, and like I mentioned earlier, going all natural and 100% natural fragrances included isn't always the answer. You want to go with something that is, you want to use products that aren't very fragrant. And if there are fragrances, that they come from the natural substances, not from an added fragrance, because those can really produce mixed signals and they can confuse your brain. Not only that, the molecules. So when we sniff, what's happening is molecules are actually coming up into our olfactory system and touching the mucosal linings. Okay. That means that if you're using an alcohol-based perfume that has chemical or synthetic fragrances within them, those little molecules are embedding themselves in your olfactory system, and alcohol inside your nose. If you weren't a stupid kid that did that, then you may not know this. Oh man, I'm showing what a child I was. Um, it burns. It burns like you would not believe. So, if you sniff too much bleach or you sniff too much alcohol, your nose burns. Perfume is the same way. Fragrances of any kind, whether they're in your body and skincare, they are in your cleaning products, if they're in the air. So if you're going out and you are heavily perfumed, you are impacting everybody around you. It's not just you. And if you are in a crowded room with very little ventilation, you are significantly hurting other people. And I'm not saying ditch the perfumes. If you like your perfume, by all means, just be very mindful of how much you're using, because what happens is, a lot of people will put more perfumes on because they can't individually smell them. And your nose shuts off those senses because it's like, okay, well, this is part of everyday life. I love the smell of the ocean. I love the smell of the sea. And it never occurred to me when I moved to California that I wouldn't be able to smell it anymore. And it stopped. My favorite smell in the whole world is the ocean. It's the beach. And I remember moving there and it was so strong. And then I just couldn't smell it anymore, no matter how many times I went to the ocean. I lived down the street. So, I mean, I was right there. And the only time I would smell it again was if I went away and then I came back. So whenever flew home, or, my trips with my girlfriends, when I went back, I would always smell the ocean. It would only last about a day or so. And then I wouldn't smell it again. Perfumes and fragrances that we use in our homes, on our bodies, they're the same way. Your nose will actually shut them off after a certain period of time so that you no longer smell that. It wants to be aware and available for anything else. It's a protection mechanism. There's nothing you can do about it. It's part of it. So as you're putting on fragrances and things like that, be mindful of that, because you don't smell it. It doesn't smell heavy to you, but it could actually be. So look at the volume that you're using. Take breaks. If it's your favorite smell, especially, take breaks so that when you go to put it on again, it smells fantastic again. All right, so I have 5 things for you. 5 things for you to do to really take care of your skin, in addition to what we just talked about. So obviously fragrances are a key thing. They can either hinder or help. And like I said, they tend to burn. your olfactory system. And this can dramatically impact it. It impacts the food that you eat because noses, our sense of smell, is a key core component to what we're eating. It's how we sense whether we like a flavor or we don't like a flavor. It's everything within our mouth, our nose. It's all affected or all included in that whole tasting process. Okay, sensing process. Sometimes even your ears. If someone's telling you it's delicious, you're automatically going to assume the food in front of you is delicious and you're going to go for it. If someone is telling you that it's not very good, then that's going to impact you as well. So let's talk about these 5 things that you can do to really improve the health of your skin and help partner with that diet that we talked about last week and with the mindset improvements that we talked about the week before. All right. Very first thing is diet. Eat a diet rich in micronutrients, antioxidants, lots of fiber, fats, and other vital, crucial nutrients, not just for your skin, for your whole body. Second, use naturally occurring products. Now, here's what I mean by that. There are naturally occurring, there is naturally, and then there is synthetic. Naturally occurring comes directly from the plants. The natural, I believe it's infused. They're using a couple of different phrases now, but I believe it's infused, naturally infused nowadays. What that is that's actually using chemically derived natural fragrances. They're not really natural. The natural should be in quotes. Naturally induced are chemically produced scents from our environment. They're not from the plants. And then synthetic, obviously, manufactured. So the fragrances that you're looking for in products, whether you're using them on your skin, your face, your dishes, your cleaning, in your yard is a key. That's impactful as well. There's a lot in your environment you can't control. So let's go with the things that you can control. Anything around you want to make sure that the products that you're using have naturally occurring fragrances. Nothing manufactured. You have not faked the fragrance. So far we've got eat a diet rich in antioxidants, fiber, and all those vital micronutrients, and use products that include naturally occurring fragrances. Remember that phrase. Here's number 3, avoid artificial fragrances. All of them. Don't burn your nostrils, please. Number 4 is to find the root cause of your pain. Stop overdosing and using your pain protocols, things like ibuprofen and NSAIDs, over-the-counter products. We are not talking practitioner. We are not talking licensed practitioner provided. We are not talking anything that is associated with your pain management plan. There are definitely conditions, illnesses, things like fibromyalgia and rheumatoid arthritis, chronic fatigue, any number of the chronic illnesses. A lot of those do need medications and prescriptions. But if we're talking additional meds, things like ibuprofen and NSAIDs and other anti-steroidal, anti-inflammatory drugs that you're using to manage your pain and discomfort, those are things that can be minimized simply by improving your diet and improving the things that you're using on your skin and body and in your environment. Okay. So the first step with that is finding what the root cause is. If you don't know what the root cause is, you can't fix it and you can't find a way of managing it well. So if you find that you're reaching for that ibuprofen bottle just once too often every week, every day, let's figure out what's going on. Let's figure out where the root cause is and let's see what we can do to fix it. Sound good? And number 5 kind of comes back to what we've discussed all month, all of the components that we've discussed all month. Number 5 is heal your gut. If your gut is unhealthy, if your gut is out of balance, everything else shows it. Your skin, your eyes, your external environment, while there may be components that you cannot control, your body struggles to respond to them and to protect itself. So heal that gut, one of the prime ways. So let's go over these 5 again and summarize them so that you've got them in your brain just before we peace out. All right. Here are your 5. You're going to eat a diet rich in antioxidants, vital nutrients, and lots of fiber. Keep it healthy, keep it whole food. You are going to use natural occurring products, things that are not chemically produced or synthetic. You are going to avoid artificial fragrances. Find the root cause of your skin reactions and your pain, any discomfort that you're feeling, any health issue that you're struggling with. You want to figure out what that is. And then finally, most importantly, last one, heal your gut. You heal your butt. Heal your butt. Oh, there's a blooper for you. Heal your gut, heal your body. And what happens from there? Go live your life. Do all the things you want to do. All right. So, in honor of all of this and our self-love February, we are entering into sugar-free March Madness this week. Starting March 1st, for 31 days, we give up added sugar. Sugar's not from whole foods. That's all that means. I'm not taking away your sweet. I'm taking away the added sweet and the simple glucose, and that's it. So you want access to that? You want to check this thing out? This is the number one way to heal your gut, is to ditch the sugar. Because when you ditch the sugar, everything else seems to follow. So if you're interested, DM or comment below, sugar-free, and I will send you the paperwork and get you all registered, access to the app, all that good stuff. All right, people. Cheers to the end of another beautiful, wonderful month. Let's enter March as the lionesses that we are. I will chat with you later. Cheers.